So I've said this from the beginning, both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X are going to sell a ton of consoles, especially when they launch, because everyone, and I mean everyone, was excited to get their hands on a new piece of hardware, especially after what we saw from the mid-generation upgrades from the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. While those were great systems, it was obvious that both the PS4 and the Xbox One didn't launch with some of the top technology on the hardware side. So when these new generation consoles launched, gamers from all over the world were ready to pounce at the opportunity to grab new consoles that have better power. And when I see that both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X are breaking all kinds of records, it's honestly not surprising, because both consoles are great pieces of hardware and they both deserve the amount of success each one is getting. But I wanted to look into what each console is doing and how they stack up to each other. Not to mention, I wanted to take a deeper look at just how many consoles might have sold in the holiday launch window. I say that because it's been reported by multiple reputable websites that the hardware has sold out virtually everywhere, and that finding a new next generation console is going to be near impossible to find by April of next year. Not to mention, I have personal experience of chasing both of these consoles, especially the PlayStation 5, which I went to multiple stores early in the morning before work to grab, but just didn't have any luck. Because like I said, the demand for both of these next generation consoles is insane, and they're truly dominating the entertainment world currently. There's news every single day, it would seem, where the topic is about Xbox breaking all kinds of sales records, or the Sony's PlayStation 5 breaking all kinds of sales records, and that both consoles are in such high demand. So let's get into these articles, because I wanted to break down the sales numbers that are being reported and talk about which consoles performing in certain regions, because I find it very interesting to see how both consoles are performing, especially when new generations have just kicked off. And let's be real, Sony and Xbox are fighting for market share right now, so both companies are pulling out all the stops to attract people to their platforms. Let's see which console has done well and if this will continue to happen as we go into the new year. But first, like always, if you liked the video, hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. Alright, so let's get straight into what these articles are saying about the PS5 and the Xbox Series X launch consoles, because if you're like me, I truly don't remember a launch being this popular. I have a feeling that these consoles are in very high demand, and the problem isn't going to be selling them. It's going to be about getting consoles out there into the public for people to actually buy them. And from what we've seen from Sony's PS5 and Xbox are truly breaking records across the board. Just like this article points out when it talks about the PlayStation 5 and the records it's breaking in the UK. Here's what it said. PlayStation 5 has broken the record for the UK's biggest ever console launch, VGC understands. According to publishing sources speaking to VGC, launch sales for Sony's console far exceeded the UK's previous record holder, 2013's PlayStation 4, which sold some 250,000 units in its first 48 hours. It means PS5 significantly outsold the launch of Xbox Series X and S, and the region, which VGC previously reported had sold around 155,000 units on their first day. The most popular PS5 model at launch was the more expensive disc version edition, VGC understands, which, like Series X, accounted for around 2/3 of UK launch sales. So there's a lot to unpack here, but I'll try my best to condense all of this and explain why certain consoles are selling more than others. So first off, the article points out that Sony's consoles has far exceeded the UK's previous record holder, which is the PlayStation 4 back in 2013. Now, from what history records have shown us, that was about 250,000 units in its first 2 days. That to me is insane, because we all know the PlayStation 4 was almost a phenomenon. It sold so well for so many years that it's almost rare to find a gamer in the world that doesn't have a PS4 already. So to hear that Sony's PS5 is selling this well does make me happy, because it shows that console gaming isn't going anywhere, and the gamers that play on console are starving to get better hardware to play their games on. Next up is the fact that the disc version of the PS5 is the one that has sold the most out of all of them. So for a little while now, I've heard from multiple people that Sony didn't make that many digital-only versions of the PS5. It's basically become the unicorn of the gaming world. I still only know of one person that has a digital-only PS5, and I have to say they got extremely lucky that they were even able to get one. But everyone else I know has a disc version. I had a feeling this was going to be the norm, because Sony made far more disc versions of the PS5 than they did the digital versions. And when I say far more, I truly mean far more disc versions of the PS5. I don't have an exact number, but from what I can tell, it seems like 85% of PS5s being made were the disc versions. which is fine because even I have a disc version and I love my PS5. It's a great piece of hardware and I'm glad I can play my games on it. But now let's get to the elephant in the room, which is the head-to-head comparison of the Xbox Series X and S and what it sold compared to the PS5. So as the article suggests, the PS5 outsold the Xbox Series X and S in the UK by a wide margin. In fact, they say the Xbox Series X sold 155,000 units on their first day. Now we have to remember this is only retailers, and I'm not sure this includes the digital sales from Amazon or any other online stores. But also, this outselling isn't the same like previous generations. In fact, the article even mentions that this comes with some caveats. Here's what it had to say. However, the sales figures come with some caveats. Due to significant supply constraints for both the Xbox Series X/S and PS5, the consoles would likely have sold even better if more stock was available. Similarly, any additional stock during the launch window for either Xbox Series X or PS5 will almost certainly sell out, especially considering that pre-orders made up the vast majority of current hardware sales, limiting the number of units available to day one buyers. The platform holder which sells the most consoles in the coming months will almost certainly be the one which can get the most stock in a market. So first off, I want to say that the way the PS5 has sold makes me happy. I'm not trying to make this any attack on any particular platform, but I also love to see what competition there is in the sales department. This isn't to bring down a platform, but more to observe which platform is doing well in the marketplace. And from the looks of this article, it would seem that Sony is selling a lot more units, but more than likely it's because they have more consoles out in the market. Because that's exactly what's happening. We know for a fact that Xbox didn't start production of making consoles until August or late this summer, like Phil Spencer said in an interview recently. So we know that consoles on the Xbox side are going to be very scarce because they just need to make more units. And that's the limiting factor for the Xbox Series X and S consoles. It's not the demand for them, because we can easily see that people want the console. It's the fact that they just need more units out in the wild for people to buy, which is something that Phil Spencer himself said in an interview. He said before that exclusive games and things of that nature aren't the selling factors for a console launch. Instead, it's the price and the task of getting enough consoles to retailers. So when I see that PlayStation has sold, close to 100,000 more units than the Xbox Series X and S consoles, I don't see it as a negative toward the demand of the console. Instead, I see it as a problem with getting units to retailers. And I like the fact that the article points this out and tries to be as subjective as possible, because we all know that the Xbox Series X consoles are selling extremely well and are breaking records of their own, which the article says here. Xbox Series X/S is now Microsoft's biggest console launch in the UK, VGC understands. According to publishers speaking to VGC, Xbox Series X and S sold around 155,000 consoles on launch day, beating the previous record of 150,000 consoles, which Xbox One managed in its first 2 days on sale in 2013. The UK is the Xbox's second biggest market outside of the US. Microsoft will likely shift any additional consoles it can supply during the launch window, especially considering Series X/S UK pre-orders are understood to have been significantly higher than previous Xbox consoles, limiting the number of units available to day one buyers. Now, this is exactly what I wanted to see from both Xbox and Sony. I wanted to see a healthy stream of consoles flying out the doors and into customers' hands. I'm not one to yell from the rooftops about console sales and which console won NPD. I don't care about all of that. What I care about is that gaming has a healthy customer base and that Microsoft and Sony continue to see the benefit of making consoles and, most of all, games. Because I'm a gamer and I play games on all sorts of platforms. I mainly play on Xbox and PC, but I also play every single exclusive game on the PlayStation platform. Because I see the benefit of both consoles having success, but also competing with each other. I never want to see a company beat the other company to take them out of the business. That to me is toxic and not good for gaming, because each platform brings its own unique perspective and games to the gaming market. And I'm just happy that both consoles and platforms are breaking records, because the investment in studios and games will just continue to happen for Microsoft and Sony, which I'm always down for. But enough of what I think about all this. Tell me what you think about all of this. Do you think the gap in sales numbers will continue between Sony and Xbox? How many consoles would have sold if the supply met the demand? Which console were you able to buy at launch? Do you have both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X? Are you happy like me that gaming is just doing well? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zocker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zocker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. Right now, I'm actually playing Valhalla and Call of Duty. I'm having a lot of fun with them, but I'm honestly thinking about putting Valhalla down and jumping into Immortals Fenyx Rising. I've been really looking forward to this game because I really love Greek mythology, and I think the game just looks really well made. I love the team behind it because they're the team behind one of my favorite games of all time in all of last generation, which was Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I think they have really good tight controls. I think they do really well with environments, and I think they make just a fun all-around game. So I'm going to be jumping into Fenyx. I have it pre-ordered and pre-downloaded. So I'm going to be playing that, I think, for the next couple of weeks. And then during the break, around holidays, Christmas, I'm going to dive deep into Valhalla and put hundreds of hours into that thing. But let me know what you're playing. Go down below. I would like to know what everybody's playing. Are you playing some of the new games? Are you playing Valhalla? Are you waiting for Fenyx? Are you playing COD? Let me know. Are you on your PS5 playing Miles Morales? I'd like to know what everyone's playing. So let's talk about all our games that we're playing in the comments section. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching. And until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.